Climber, if you want to turn pro, you will fail if you don't have enough of these two key ingredients. What are they? We're going to reveal that today on The Climb. Johnny, do that thing.
Welcome to The Climb! This is the show dedicated to helping singers, songwriters, and indie artists like you create leverage in the music business. That's the secret sauce, you guys. When you have leverage, they need you more than you need them. Everybody's going to come out of the woodwork to want to be a part of your team. That's what you want. The good news is you don't need anybody's permission to create the leverage. Not like it used to be. The bad news is you got to create the leverage. So that's what this show's all about. We called it The Climb, C.L.I.M.B, creating leverage in the music business. That's a backronym from my good friend and co-host, Mr. Brent Baxter, who's an award-winning hit songwriter with cuts by Alan Jackson, Randy Travis, Lady A, Joe Nichols, and more. He has got a couple number ones in Southern Gospel, top 10 in Australia, got some more cuts on the air as we speak. And the man is a machine right here. But what I really love about Brent is he is helping songwriters like you turn pro by revealing how you write like a pro, then revealing how you do business like a pro. And then, like we just said in the last episode, he's helping you create real relationships with people that can help turn you pro on songwritingpro.com. He's introducing you to the pros.
That's right. And I want to introduce you to my co-host, Johnny Dwinell. Johnny owns Daredevil Production. They're breaking artists digitally by identifying new fans through data. Yeah, it's complicated, but thankfully, Johnny is smart. Those brains hold all that hair up. So even his hair is standing at attention, saluting at all of his brains.
Always.
If you're an artist looking to increase your streams, blow up your video views, sell more live show tickets, and get discovered by new fans, TV, and music industry pros, then Daredevil Production can help. Daredevil has worked with multi-platinum artists like Colin Ray, Tracy Lawrence, Ty Herndon, and Andy Griggs, just to name a few. You can find Johnny at daredevilproduction.com. That is Daredevil Production, singular, no S. There's no S because there is no other Johnny D.
What's happening?
Woo, man, just living life, just writing songs, trying to get some cuts and make magic happen.
Living the dream.
Living the dream, baby. Just doing the thing, living the dream.
Two things are going to make you fail if you don't have it, huh?
Oh, yes, two things. So I know a lot of climbers out there, you want to turn pro, you want cuts, you want hits, you want to make some money doing this thing you love to do. And there are also pros out there, maybe listening, some pros out there listening to us, hey, who want to stay pro. That's like me. All right. I'm in that bucket. I'm a pro, want to stay pro. Well, in both cases, you need two key ingredients if you want to turn pro or stay pro. And I'm looking forward to breaking them down today. But you got to listen through the announcements to hear what those two things are.
Right on. Well, let's get to the announcements then, because I can't wait. Number one, join the Climb community on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/groups/the Climb community and ask to be let in. You have to ask to be let in. We let everybody in unless you look like a bot. So if you're the 1 in 1,000 people who got somehow locked out of your old Facebook account, and you had to start a new one, and you're a real human being that's a songwriter or an indie artist or an indie musician that wants to get into the Climb community, you're going to look like a bot. Let me know. Hey, Johnny, this is legit. You can DM me. Otherwise, I'm just going to decline it because there's just too many people just getting in here and trying to advertise stuff, man. I've been roadhousing more and more people lately. It's pissing me off.
Yeah,
but you know what? We protect our community with the vigil. Like, try that in a small town. Try that in the Climb community. Right? Let's see how far you get.
Right.
You're gonna be taken down. You're gonna be banned. All your future accounts are gonna be banned. Anybody you suggested is going to be banned. So that's just this is all killer and no filler in the Climb community.
Ban you in the carpet cleaning truck you drove it in on. Yes,
that's right. So hey guys, we want to hear about everything. But the feed isn't where you put it. The feed is for everybody. So if you've got something interesting, something informative, something funny, something entertaining, put that in the feed for everybody. That's great. But if it's all about you and it's about your new music, man, we wanna hear about that. Put that as a comment on the Monday post.
That's right.
If it's about you and it's about gigs you got coming up, we'll put that in a comment on the Gig Alert post on Thursday. If it's about you and you wanna shout from the treetops about some wins, maybe an epiphany you had, some new connections you just made or whatever, we wanna hear about that too.
Hmm.
Put that in a comment on the New Heights section every Wednesday, and we call it Wednesday Wins. I don't know
Hmm.
why we don't just call it Wednesday Wins, but New Heights kinda goes with the climb, and Wednesday Wins just sounded cooler, and we changed our minds after that, but let's hear some wins. Let's
All
share
right.
those.
That's right. Your personal stuff like that, it's the milk. You put the milk in the fridge. You don't keep the milk in the fridge. You keep it on the counter, it goes bad. And nobody likes that.
Mhm.
So let's see. These people put the milk in the fridge. Climber Jack Nelson says self promoting, and my song Roadrunner is Texas Country Music Magazine's Song of the Week. Texas Music
Nice.
Reviews did an amazing review of the song. CDX Nashville surging and emerging song this week. My new album, Going Places, dropped this weekend. I got to do a release party at the Braun Brothers Reunion Festival. Songs from that album are already getting played on radio around the world. Top it off, I got uh, let's see, I got to help a fellow by getting young up and comer Western singer Vanessa Carpenter endorsed by Teton Guitars. And that's just a few of the highlights. Hard work works. Dude, love it,
Love it.
Jack. Keep climbing. That's awesome. Let's see
Yeah.
here.
Good job, Jack.
Yes. Let's see. Let's look through another one here.
God, I drank some water, it went down the wrong pipe. Sorry if I
That-
cough a lot here.
That's that's all right. Ren,
Oh,
get rid
gosh.
of it. All right. Roadhouse that cough, Ren. Let's see. Burdette Music says recorded my newest song, Like Aristotle, at Hourglass Studio, Wilmington, North Carolina this week. So awesome. It's fun to get new stuff recorded. That's always a good time. And Chandler Williams said got an honorable mention in the September October American Songwriter Lyric Contest. So good job, Chandler, and
Way to
all
go,
y'all
Chandler.
who posted wins, and also thank you everyone who's like commenting and giving attaboys and attagirls, because that's awesome. We love it. So y'all keep on climbing.
Yeah, I love it. All right, guys, and make sure you follow the podcast, whatever platform you're on, so that you get alerts or notifications on every
Hmm.
new episode. You don't want to miss one. And finally, tell a friend about it. That's the best thing. I
Hmm.
mean, listen, you spend all this time with us. We're so grateful for your attention. We really are. But
Hmm.
you're not doing it to make us feel better. Like you're getting something out of it. We love that you're getting something out of it. That's the purpose of this whole show. But spread it around. Somebody else could use some help too. Use some encouragement and
Hmm.
and get on that ladder and start climbing. So let them know about it. Okay.
Yeah, and if you are listening, just to make me feel better, let me say, "Hi, Mom." All right. So, all right. So
Hi,
if
Mrs. Baxter.
exactly, exactly. So if you want to turn pro or stay pro as a songwriter, you need two key ingredients. You ready for them? A little drum roll. They are will and resources. You got to have
Who's
will and you got to
Will?
have resources. Well, that's who we're going to talk about. I'm going to introduce him
Uh,
to you. He's going to
Will
make things
who?
happen. He's going to put your song and get international airplay on it. No, he's it's not a name, it's a thing. We're talking like willpower here. Okay. You got to have strength
I
of
don't know
will.
Willpower. I'm still confused about who you're
Still
talking
don't
about. I
know
know Will
willpower.
Nance. I know Brandon Will. I
It's
don't know Willpower. Who's
willpower.
is like
Well,
Austin?
then,
Is he related to Austin?
Austin
Oh, that's Powers.
right. That's
Okay.
very different. So yeah, you gotta have will, you gotta have resources. So we're just gonna kind of break those down and hopefully kind of lead you in a good direction here. So let's first talk about willpower. Uh, you need the will to rebound from rejection, because rejection is coming. If you're lucky, if you don't get rejected, you probably just never put anything out there to get judged. So if you're lucky, you're on the climb if you're getting rejected. But you got to have the will to rebound from that and get up back on that horse. You need the will to do the scary, uncomfortable things, whether it's like, oh, I'm going to go play writer's night, or I'm going to go to Nashville and I don't know what, no one's going to go with me. I don't know anyone there and it's scary, or I'm going to pack up the U-Haul and I'm going to move to Nashville, or I'm going to call this publisher. I'm going to play for this. That's scary, right? You got to have the will to do scary, uncomfortable things, or even like, I've never co-written. I'm going to try this. Right. You need the will to do that sort of stuff. You
That's
need
right.
the will to work hard, even when you're tired, discouraged, or simply have a million other things going on, because you're going to hit all those things. And you need the will to show up and do that. It takes will to keep on grinding, because unlike some people who think you're going to move to Nashville and be record deal stars, radio stars in a year,
Yeah.
it ain't going to happen like that. All right. So
Yeah.
you need the will to keep on grinding. But here's the bad news. Got some bad news for you. I don't know if we can make or manufacture more will or grit. Maybe. I'm not sure. Not ready to say we are. It may be that you only want this so much, right? You may only want it 80 out of 100%. I don't know. You may just
Right.
have what you have. I don't know if you can make more will, if you can want it more. But I do have good news. I think there are some ways to protect and maximize the will that you do have. That I know some ways that we can help you out on. Who knows? It may be a way to make yourself want it more. I don't know if that's a thing, but
Uh-huh.
a couple ways to protect and maximize. What do you think,
Well,
John? You think people
I
can
I
make
don't know if
themselves
it's
want
about
it more? To
I
have
don't know
more
if it's
will?
I don't know if it's about wanting it more as much as it's about being clear on what it takes. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
Like, I think especially in the younger well, all right, so I listen to this. My favorite podcast is called the All In podcast.
yeah, mhm,
Um, and it's ALL-IN, as in all in, like poker.
mhm,
And this is a fantastic podcast for billionaires on both sides of the aisle politically.
mhm,
Okay, and it's usually about 1 hour every week, and they're talking about, tech, they're talking about markets, they're talking about economies, they're talking about politics, and it's real honest discourse that doesn't devolve into BS like, "You're racist," or whatever, and they
right,
just are really tackling the issues, and they were discussing the current writers' strike in Hollywood, and
mhm,
they were talking about like, "Hey, I can understand that they want this and this and this, but over here, they gotta be really careful because of, what they're asking is ridiculous," right? Like,
mhm,
in art, it's a meritocracy, right? It's not a fair thing like a union or whatever. I
yeah.
mean, the people who really,
Well,
really get
define
successful.
fair. Maybe fair is the merit wins.
Well,
So
I'm just saying, like, they're trying to sort of like, unionize and force
mhm,
Hollywood to pay writers, mediocre writers more
yeah,
so they can make a living doing this. And it seems like but all those mediocre writers, if they got lucky and got a lucky break and started making money, certainly don't want to share that.
right,
And,
yeah,
so it's a be careful what you ask God for kind of a thing.
yeah,
But and the point that they made, which just hit me right over the head, it was, the younger generation just thinks like they should come in
mhm,
and start working and get paid more.
yeah,
And it's like, no, I mean, there's so many stories about the bigger directors who I'm thinking of, uh, Rat Pack as his production team. Ra Ratner is the
oh,
director. He's done a bunch of big, like,
Brett Ratner, I think is his name.
Brent Ratner, yeah.
Yeah.
He's done a bunch of big movies, including what's the Jackie Chan movie with, what's his face?
Rush Hour?
The Rush Hour flicks, those were his.
Mhm,
Like, he got his start by reaching out to Steven Spielberg and was like, "Hey, blah, blah," and Steve's like, "Well, I don't have anything to offer." He's like, "Hey, I don't wanna get paid. I'm looking for an opportunity, like, whatever you like, I'll go work for free
yeah,
to do this," you know what I mean? And the same like actors, there's and musicians, like they'll go play for free because it's what they love to do. And so it takes this is art, and to do it really, really, really freaking well, it takes tens of thousands of hours of work
yeah,
to get past the stage where you're emulating, to get to the place where you discover your own taste,
mhm,
and then to hone that and become really good and really professional and stand out. So, if you think you're going to do this in a year, uh, don't. I mean, I just
yeah,
think it's becoming aware of like having the will to do it. Like, you've really got to love it that
yeah,
much
mhm,
that you gotta scratch that itch, like, and if you don't, you're gonna be either in a straitjacket or climbing a tower with a gun,
right,
you know what I mean? Like, that's what it takes, those are the people. It's not a hobby if you want to make a good living at it, right?
yeah,
You can have it as a hobby and scratch that itch, and a lot of people I think that listen to a lot of climbers are that, there's a
mhm,
balance in there. They're not trying to, they're not trying to become Morgan Wallen or something like that. They
yeah,
just, they'd be perfectly happy playing for a halfway decent crowd, every other month in their hometown.
Yeah.
Love that. That's awesome,
Yeah. Mhm.
but understand and know what it
They're
is,
gonna
right?
require
And
different things. And I think figuring that stuff out helps you gauge that against your will to go, "Okay, do I want that? Nah." I can look at certain Instagram bodies and go, do I wanna work that hard and never have pizza again?
yeah.
Nope. But, yeah, I don't want this other I'm somewhere in the middle. I'll work okay, there we go. But
Yeah.
either way, it takes will, so I don't know if you can generate more of it, but here are some things I think you can do to protect and maximize the will and the willpower that you do have so you can save it for overcoming rejection, for doing the scary, uncomfortable things. Okay. So,
Wait,
one,
before you get into
yeah.
it, can I just do it's a side note. It's got nothing to do with
Okay.
what we're talking about, but I
Well,
just
that's
think
great.
it's
We'll just
really
cut it
important.
later.
Okay. Hey, I'm the one that does the post-production. Oh, actually, I'm not the one that does the editing anymore, though.
That's
Okay.
right.
So listen, I do wanna tell everybody we're coming into election season right now, okay? And
Okay.
whatever side of the aisle that you sit on, I wanna strongly encourage everybody to listen to the All In podcast because they've now started like long form interviewing all the candidates, right? They've already
Oh,
had RFK on there. They had this new guy, I'm gonna screw up his name, but Raswamy or something like
yeah.
that, like
Vivek Ramaswamy.
yeah, Ramaswamy, and I mean, you're talking about, like, 60 to 90-minute interviews
Hmm.
where and again, these are 4 billionaires, so they're super smart, they
Hmm.
got super inside knowledge, right?
Hmm.
And they're on both sides of the aisle, so there's something for everybody in there, and it's, like, strong, intelligent conversation, and I just listened to the one with Ramaswamy, and I mean, they were drilling this guy. Like
Mm.
nothing that you're gonna get on mainstream media.
Yeah.
It's not sound bites.
Yeah.
It's like real conversation. And so I just think if you vote and you care, I just want to turn you on to this is a great resource to get some just real information about the candidates that you like. So
Oh,
it's
that's
called the
interesting.
All In Podcast.
I'll have
Okay,
to
real
check that
important.
out.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. Here's
Sorry
some
about that, but I
ways.
just thought it was important.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, I live in this country too. So, all right. There are some ways to protect and maximize the will that you do have. First off, make good habits. Okay. So, making good habits takes will on the front end, but it frees up a lot of will on the back end, right? So, it's an
Yep.
investment in your future willpower, I think, because habits, once formed, they kind of run on autopilot. That's the whole thing about a habit.
Mhm,
Some habits, we've discussed before on the show are the daily song title habit. So
mhm,
I'll dive into that one a little bit. So, because I want the will, I'm going to save my will for overcoming rejection when people don't cut my songs or I have to reschedule 5 times to get with an artist or whatever. That all takes dejection, willpower, to fight discouragement.
mhm,
So what I do is I have my my clear habits journal right here, and every day I have a month of whatever page calendar, and every day I got to write down the song title. It's become a habit. I'm not going to feel right if I don't do it. I don't think I've missed a day since maybe December of
mhm,
writing a new song title in that journal. And
mhm,
then there are ways to gamify it. I've said before where I used to keep it in the drawer where I'd keep my vitamins for the day
mhm,
because I knew that every morning, weekends included, I'm gonna go there, or it's by the coffee, and the drawer was there with the vitamins, and that little booklet was there where I'm gonna write a song title,
mhm,
and so I see it. So there's a cue, and so it would get where I'm walking down the stairs or whatever. I'm heading to the coffee pot. And I'm going to have get my coffee going. I'm going to take my vitamins in that drawer, and that booklet's going to be there. That little notebook. I better think of a song title. So I'm starting to think of it ahead of time.
right.
And so it's not. It just starts to become a habit. Like okay, it's easier and easier to do. It takes less willpower to do it because you get the flywheel going. So the more kind of habits like that you can work on, or your song title challenge habit, your daily rap work, which is write, record, access, pitch, all this different stuff, the habits you can form will save you the willpower. That's the whole thing about habits. You don't have
Mhm.
to think about biting your fingernails or reaching for a cigarette or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like that's the whole point. Doesn't take
It's
willpower
like
anymore to do it.
stacking the deck it's like stacking the emotional deck in your favor. Like,
Exactly.
you can control this, you know? You know what I'm thinking about right now? I'm thinking about, Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Outliers.
Mhm.
And so dig this analogy here for a second. I think the book, if I remember right, it opens up with him and his wife. This is a fascinating book, by the way.
Mhm.
Um, it's not fiction. It's just real talk, right? But it opens up with him and his wife at they're Canadian, and they're at their children's hockey game.
Mhm.
And the wife's looking through the program, and in the program it has all the hockey players with their birth
Oh,
dates,
yeah, yeah.
and she notices like almost every one of the hockey players is born January through March.
Mhm.
And she's like, "Well, that's weird. That's strange." And Malcolm notices a pattern. He's like, "Well, that's probably just a weird outlier thing, right?" And
Right.
then he starts doing research on all the professional hockey players,
Mhm.
and it turns out like an inordinate amount of professional hockey players, like the overwhelming majority, are born from January through March.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Huh.
And so he goes, "Well, I figured it out." He goes, "That's where the cutoff is
Mhm.
uh, on on what league you're going to be in, on what age group you're
Mhm.
going to be in. So when you're talking about growing up with as a young child, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and playing hockey in some kind of a league, the difference in your size and
Mhm.
speed and coordination from one year to the next is incredible because they're growing so fast.
Yeah.
So those are the bigger kids,
And which
right?
means they get more attention during practice, they get more game time, right? That ratchet effect, the upward ratchet works in their favor where they're
Yeah, and
getting
which means they have more let's how about this? They just have more fun because
Mhm.
they're better at it, right?
And so they
Because
stick with it.
they can dominate and they have success, and
Mhm.
because they have success, it increases their self-confidence and their willpower
Mm.
to want to do
The
it some more,
resiliency. Yeah.
and their resiliency, so these habits that you're talking about are stacking that emotional
Mhm.
deck in your favor so that you can have constant dopamine hits of success
Mhm.
while you're trudging through the crap you gotta trudge through to
Right.
get to success,
Yeah.
to actual monetary
Like
success.
last month, I didn't do great on my rap checklist, my write, record, access, pitch. Yeah, we
Mhm.
had a mission trip. We had just like it's summer, Hazel's home. It's crazy. It's just like all this stuff going on. Really investing in like the songwriting pro side of thing, getting Ren trained up on stuff. Well, that's starting to pay off more now. Ren's starting to be able to take more of that, and so I have a little more margin. So I've been able for now the past week or two, like doing some writing like every business day, hit my access goals, working on recording songs, getting through the finish line, pitching, all this stuff. And it just starts getting momentum going, which makes me feel much better about my songwriting business. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm feeling momentum. Now, has
Yeah.
anything really happened in the past week or two to, no, I'm planting seeds, but it feels like stuff's happening. And that
Yeah.
helps build resiliency. So if somebody cancels or somebody, passes on a song, it's a lot easier to bounce back because I have more kind of momentum and resiliency going on. So I think just the more good habits, and this is not going to be all a habits episode, but the more good songwriting habits and music business habits you can create for yourself, the more that frees up that willpower. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the decision making power is also, they think it's kind of like willpower. It's a tank that empties out throughout the
Yeah.
day.
Yep.
That so that's why like Steve Jobs wore the same thing every day. He has a closet full of like black turtlenecks or whatever and jeans
Yeah.
because
And Einstein.
that's one less decision he had to make during the day. He can save his brain power for the important things, or I eat
Yeah.
the same thing for breakfast every day. Some of those guys do that. Not me, but some other people do that where it's like, I eat the same thing every day. Why? I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
I can save my
Yeah.
thought. I wear the same thing and eat the same thing. Why? Because I can save it for the $1 billion
I
decision,
yep.
not the
Yeah.
20-cent decision. So
Exactly.
get good habits is going to free up some of that willpower so you can be more resilient. The other thing is get good sleep. Lack of sleep negatively affects your mood and your willpower and your brain power. So
Mhm.
do yourself a favor and invest in some sleep. Now, it's going to take some willpower to get to bed earlier. I got to work on that myself. That's one of my struggles. But it's going to take a lot less willpower to get up early and work on your songwriting if you got to bed earlier the night before and got a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
Same thing like eating, like you talk about the willpower kind of thing. It runs out, man. If I don't sleep well, I want to eat everything. And there are biological reasons for that. Why our bodies crave crap, after we don't
Mhm.
sleep well. But also at the end of the night when I'm tired, I'm much more likely to get in the fridge and eat stuff that, I can skip breakfast, but it's a lot harder to get that that close to midnight snack. Because I
Mhm.
got a full tank of willpower in the morning. So it's a
Yeah.
lot easier to
Good point.
skip, and I haven't eaten yet today. It's like lunch. Lunch is going to be the first thing I eat today. Well, that's that. If I can do that, how come I'm not? How come it's really hard from like 10 to 11 to not eat at night after I've eaten,
Yeah.
just like a couple hours before? My willpower's tired. I'm tired. My willpower's drained. So if you get good sleep, it helps you. For one thing, sleep improves your mood, so you're less likely to have to spend willpower overcoming depression or melancholy in the first place. So again, it saves that willpower for other things that can help move the ball down the field. A good book on sleep is Sleep Smarter. It's by Sean Stevenson. He has a podcast called The Model Health Show,
Mhm.
which is really good. Dives into all the sleep science and food, nutrition, exercise science. It's pretty good. It's pretty brainy. So I don't listen to all of it, but I thought Sleep Smarter was a really good book. Nutrition would be good too. But that's just ways to help protect your will and save it for the stuff that you can't really control. You
Mhm.
know, like I can't control if
Mhm.
somebody passes or if somebody hates my song and tells me that or whatever. It saves your willpower for the grind and the resiliency that you need. So that's will, but you got to have will if you're going to make it as a songwriter. There's just no way around it.
What's your midnight snack? What's the kryptonite?
It depends on what's in the fridge, but if nothing else, a spoon of peanut butter.
There you go.
As
Peanut
my
butter's
brother-in-law
amazing.
Matt Klein used to say when he was a child from the family stores, peanut butter on a poon.
Peanut butter on a pone. That's what I want. That's
That's what
funny.
Matt used to ask for when he was a kid. Peanut butter on a spoon, baby.
For me, and okay, for those of you who are whiskey drinkers out there, you're welcome in advance. Okay, I found a thing. This is the thing. I shared it with you last
Yes.
time you were here. Like, I keep chocolate chips
Mhm.
frozen in the freezer and put them in a little bowl. Right,
Mhm.
like a few chocolate chips in a little bowl, and you kind of eat a couple chocolate chips, take a sip of whiskey,
Mhm.
and it brings out the flavor of the whiskey. It's fantastic. Sorry if I'm working against your willpower thing here, but that's amazing. That's my
Yeah.
kryptonite. That's all
It
I
ain't
gotta say
bad.
about that.
So, you're gonna have to have will. So, focus on, hey, if you can increase your willpower, great. If you can free up more of it, great.
Mhm,
All right, the other thing you need are resources. So there are several kinds of resources you need in order to make it as a pro or keep success as a songwriter. There may be more, but here's just some ones that I've considered. And I'll go down each one, but you need knowledge, skills, network, time, recording capability, and capital. So we'll kind of
mhm,
break down each one of these. So knowledge, how the business works, who the key decision makers are, the KDM, right? Who the key decision makers are and how to access them, what market smart song choices are, like, what's smart, how to build your song. That takes knowledge. And then just general craft and business do's and don'ts. You need a certain amount of knowledge and also like who's cutting, right?
mhm.
All that stuff that kind of falls under the KDM. But yeah, how it works, who the key decision makers are, what choices you should make and shouldn't make, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. That just kind of for me all falls under the umbrella of knowledge.
Yeah,
That's a resource. Knowledge is power, my friend. And that's part of what we're doing here for you. So we're helping you with
yeah,
the knowledge here.
and it's a knowledge is the, um, polar opposite or the antagonist of naivete.
It's the destroyer.
The destroyer of naivete, that's right,
Right.
it's like knowing that how to do this, how to play this
Yeah.
game. You're not going to write 3 songs and then just wait and see what happens with those before you make a decision about
Mhm.
whether or not you're going to move forward with songwriting. If that's your plan, you've already lost.
Yeah.
It's like you got to be constantly writing.
Yeah. And you can increase your knowledge, right? You're
Yep,
doing it right now by listening to the climb. Thank you. Keep on climbing.
you're welcome. Yep.
So you must have the resource of knowledge. You must have the resource of skills. So this is like songwriting craft, musical skill, recording, DAW skills,
Production. Yeah.
networking skills, like how to work a room, how to meet people and make friends and stay in contact. We have, heck, you can increase that too. We just had a whole episode on how to not be an ask hole, how to not
Yeah.
just show up when, how to keep your connections warm without wearing out your welcome, that sort of
Yep.
thing. So you can increase those skills as well, and you have to invest in them because that is a resource you gotta have. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't have any skills to take advantage of it,
Yeah.
doesn't do you any good, right? You're not gonna get you where you want to go. The other thing is the resource of network. So those are relationships. It's know, like, and trust, right?
Mhm.
KLT, know, like, and trust. It's who you know and who knows you. Do they know you? Do they like you? Do they trust you? That's where opportunities come. And
Yep.
you gotta work on that resource. And I'm intentional about how I work on that resource, and you need to be as well.
Yeah. Yep.
So these are all hopefully pretty self-explanatory, but I want you to focus on these resources and go, hey, maybe put a chart up, sticky notes, whatever you do to go, am I working all these resources? Because I got to have these resources if I want to make it.
Yep.
The other one is time. You don't just find it, you got to make it. Yeah, we all have 24 hours in the day. Maybe it's like willpower. We just can't make more of it, but you can harness and free up as much of it as you can
And preserve it. Yeah.
and preserve it and use it effectively. So that's where habits can help you do that. You have to spend less time getting geared up to do these certain things. You just do them, right? So less
Yeah, you can't if you're
procrastination,
waiting for the
hopefully,
muse to show up before you start writing, that's.
a waste of time.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, how do you use your time most effectively? That takes, well, knowledge, and will help you figure out what you need to do and how you can do it more effectively. But yeah, time. You gotta use that resource. We all have access to it. Some of us just have more margin than others, but being intentional. How can you free up as much of that resource for your songwriting or artist pursuit as possible? It means
Mhm.
cutting things out to make room for better things. So you got to use your time resource wisely. The other is recording capability, because ultimately it's got, rap, record, access, and pitch. You got to have something that's in a pitchable form, some sort of form where somebody can hear it and fall in love with it. If you're an artist, obviously you need to be able to put music out. If you're a songwriter, you need at least a work tape, or hopefully you'll get to demos, that sort of thing, where you can either pitch it yourself or stuff that's good enough for a publisher to hear so they can help you on their recording end. But you got to have that resource, whether that's a home DAW, which is digital audio workstation, right? Whether it's your own musical equipment, whether it's co-writers who record. I mean,
Mhm.
that's a lot of my recording capability is, oh, I wrote with Wilkes and he can do that
Yeah.
himself, or I wrote with so and so, or they'll do it on their next session or whatever that is, right? So it doesn't have to be all in-house, but you have to be able to access that resource.
Yeah.
I don't have an oil well in my backyard, but I have access to gasoline when I need to drive
Right.
somewhere.
Right,
Okay,
right, right.
doesn't all have to be in-house, or it could be a demo studio. So you need to have that resource somewhere where I can get good recordings for what I need done with my songs. You got to have that. And then the last one is capital. That's money, baby. You got to be able to pay for trips to Nashville. If you don't live in Nashville, you got to have a presence there. Our friend Scott Sean White, he lives down in Texas. He's in Nashville every other week.
Yeah.
That's a lot of miles on the
Poetry,
car.
Texas, right outside of Dallas. That's a 9-hour drive, folks.
Yeah, not easy.
He's
Uh,
not flying, he's driving.
he's driving, right. I'm making trips back consistently.
Yep.
Other people are, but even if it's not just trips, it's demos. I don't get all my demos done by sweat of my co-writer's brow. I have to pay for
Mhm.
some of those, and that's fine. Industry networking events. I'm going to be going to the NSAI Awards coming up in late September, so I'm going to be there. If you're there, howdy at me. I'll probably be wearing my right hat. Find me. Sunday Joe's going to be there. But, it costs money to be at that. But why am I going? It's educational, because I'm going to learn from those songs, getting all played live, the 10 songs I wish I'd written. But
Mhm.
it's a big networking event. I'm going to see a lot of people there that maybe I haven't seen in a while.
Mhm.
And so I'm investing in that. That takes
Rekindle
money.
some relationships, yeah.
Yeah. You're
You're looking at the investment part of it, you're looking at the future ROI down the
mhm.
road instead of focusing on, well, what's the cost of the ticket?
Yeah. Yeah. I got to deal with that now. Got to make sure I have the funds to handle it now. But I'm looking at it as an investment.
Yeah, as opposed to an expense.
Exactly. Like, what is my ROI on this? Well, I hope to run into a bunch of people that maybe we turn them into a song title challenge, turn them into a Know
Yeah.
the Pro Songwriting
Mm.
Pro event, turn them into a co-write, turn them into a pitch connect. Like, I will
Yep.
put you in the funnel or move
It's
you
like it's
further
like,
down the funnel.
you wanna start a business, a lawn care business, right?
Hmm.
And you're like, "Well, I'm gonna do it with scissors because like the right kind of mower is like 6 grand. So
Right.
I'm gonna do it with scissors. Well, yeah, that could work. It's gonna take you a long time. You're not gonna be very fast at it. It's not gonna look very good.
And you're not
And
gonna get a review from that.
yeah, and your ROI is gonna suck because it's gonna take you, 2 weeks to cut. By the time you get done cutting the lawn, you have to go back and start cutting it again.
Exactly, yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you could get past the cost of the friggin' mower and be like, "You know what? I can do 10 times as many lawns with
Mhm.
this and increase my revenue by 10 if I use this mower as opposed to maybe." I mean, I'm joking with the scissors, but as
Yeah.
opposed to a push lawn mower, you get that killer riding one,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? And you invest in the gear and make it work. These are tools,
Yeah.
that help you do more work more efficiently, do better work more
Mhm.
efficiently, and it pays for itself. So yeah.
Yeah. So you gotta have access to capital. We don't have to be million that's the old joke, how do you make a small fortune in the music business? Start with a large fortune.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
How do you
so
make
you
$1 million in the music business? Start with 10.
Right, exactly, yeah. But you don't have to be a millionaire, okay? But you do need to be mindful, just like with time, like, how do I use it more efficiently? How do I say no to something so I can say yes to something better with your money?
Yeah.
Maybe it's like, maybe I don't need Disney Plus. Maybe I don't need the Hulu, ESPN, but all that stuff is fun. Hey, maybe I'm going to eat at home a few more times a month or a week or whatever. Whatever it is
Mhm.
for you, figure that out. Get on a budget, do some Dave Ramsey stuff. Let's figure this out. Can I pay off some debt so then I can, instead of spending that on hoagies, I can now my debt snowball what I was paying that $200 a month for a car or whatever. Now that goes into a demo fund. I'm used to not spending it. Let's just keep not spending it, but let's put it into another envelope
There you
here
go.
for
Yeah, or
music.
compounding interest on a credit card.
Let's just
Yeah.
yeah, oh gosh, no, don't do that. So, you gotta be mindful of this. So, knowledge, you can grow that. You're doing that now. You're listening to the climb. Good job. Skills, you can grow those working on it, working on your craft, whatever, and different parts of craft. Network, you can grow that. Good job. Work on the know, like, trust, meaning who knows me, likes me, trusts me. And who do I know, like, and trust? Those are the people that you're gonna be working with. Time, how do you be more efficient? How do you free up more of it? Recording capability, how do you get access to that? You can either pay or you can relationship your way into it or learn it yourself. Either way, there's a cost with it. It's an investment, even if you're
Mhm.
just learning it to do yourself. And then capital. How do I get access to new funds or be more efficient with the funds I have, whatever that is. Hey, do I go sell fireworks, for part of the summer? And that's just my demo fund for the year.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of teachers that go do that, right? They go sell fireworks during the summer.
Yeah.
I've heard of that. That used to be a thing. It probably still is. I'm sure for teachers and stuff like, I'm off in the summer. I'm gonna go sell some fireworks and make an extra 10 grand or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
What can you do? Um, so yeah, will and resources, man, those are the two key ingredients you need to turn pro and to stay pro. I'm still focused on all this stuff. And the good news is, like Songwriting Pro, we already mentioned a couple times, it's there to help you maximize both, right? We dive into habits, what are good songwriting habits? We have stuff on that. We share a ton of knowledge from the pros. So it's not just here on the climb, but also like we have Know the Pro events, which are only for members and they're free with your membership. We just had Scott Sean White coming on talking
Mhm.
about how he attacks the Nashville thing from Poetry, Texas, and all this other stuff, how he's getting
Well,
his
that must have
Cody
been
Johnson
great.
cuts. Oh, he's a sweetheart, man. He's so
Yeah.
nice.
I love him.
And let's see, we share stuff on how to help you improve your skills. We help you grow your network through like Co-Writer Cafe, Pro Connect events. I mean, we have a Pro Connect event tonight at the time of this recording where some members are hopping on it's members only, get to hop on with a publisher and play songs. And hopefully we're going to get good stuff coming out of that, but it's an at bat, like it's a
Yep.
good deal. So y'all should, if you're not already a Songwriting Pro member, you should definitely start your 14-day free trial at songwritingpro.com. But yeah, will and resources, baby. You got to have them. Got to pay attention to them.
Yes, sir.
So that's what
That's
I
what you need.
got. Yeah.
Now you got something else, right?
Well, the big thing I just want to talk about was the songwritingpro.com, the 14-day free trial. If you're not sure and you just want to dip your toe in, hear a little bit more about what we do, I have a free PDF download for you. It's called 6 Ways to Make Your Songs More Commercial. It's just some of the lessons I've learned in my time writing commercial music. And you can get that at
Mhm.
6, the number 6, simpleways.songwritingpro.com. And you just tell me where to send it. I send it to you. but it's my gift to you for hanging out and learning about Will and the resources. It's a resource you can use to help you with your knowledge and your skill.
There you go. All right, guys. So that brings us to the end of another Killer Climb episode. Make sure that you join the Climb community, share the podcast with a friend, and make sure you follow the podcast on the platform that you're on so you get every episode. And don't forget about October 23rd. Monday, October 23rd is the very first Climb Show Music Business Podcast takeover
At Live Oak in
Live Oak.
Nashville.
Yeah. We got some killer writers coming out. We got some climbers that are going to be on there as well, which I'm super stoked about. This is going to be a great night. There are going to be some publishers showing up. Guys, this is going to be worth the trip if you live out of town. Come on in, hang out, get some co-writes under your belt, meet some publishers, listen to where the bar is set, listen to some of these other writers that are getting cuts, that have hits on the radio. They're all really nice, real people, you know?
Yes.
And and they'll talk to you, you know, and give advice. So man, what a great, I can't think of a better like non-velvet rope thing, you know. It's just, all you gotta do is show up. That's all you gotta do.
Right.
And this is like good hunting, you know. It's a target rich environment.
That's right.
So all right, guys, that's it. This podcast exists because we want you to win. So keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.